some are a bit naughty and keep saying, Fiami will do an interview. Anyway, looks like I run us off. The uncle's telling them to watch a tutorial, but they've gotten into the playoff stages, so I think they're a bit beyond the tutorial right now. Piece of heart from the lamp, and we're out of the house.
Having a map check from both players at the same time, I think I saw a panda at Tower of Hera, and the two other were crystals.
Alright, what does the uncle have for us? It is a Cane of Burner, possibly one of my least favorite starts in the standard seeds anyway. So the Cane of Burner, it drains your magic really fast, and it makes farming for bombs to try and get into the free chests at the back of escape really nasty if the jobs don't go away. But as we see from thalane, he just got a bomb from the green guard there just by throwing upon it, so he's not going to have to do much farming. And speaking of lack of convenience, we had a moon pearl from the chest there too, which is going to make things a lot more convenient for runs later.
I mean, Cannon Burner isn't that bad. Like, you could kill multiple enemies in the sewers, for example, the ropes or the rats, compared to, for example, a fire rod, where your magic is very limited.
True, I guess. A fire rod does one-shot, but it also means that you're limited to a set amount of shots. And if a rat is decidedly too fast and misses your shot, then yeah, that is a lot of wasted magic. But the magic starts I've never been fond of in standard. I'd rather have 10 bombs than the magic start, to be fair.
Yeah, actually, like, the bombs are very convenient, especially for that bag of escape.
So if thalane has that critical bomb and Goomba does not, I imagine we'll probably be seeing killing a lot of the rats and ropes in the sewers. Unless a guard happens to prove lucky out here.
Definitely. We're also not very lucky with the first two chests in Escape, having the key and the map. I mean, we're gonna find it in the front, but having the map, not very efficient. Like, you would want bombs as well in the front of Escape in one of those chests.
thalane has no need to save magic, so he's just nuking down that ball and chain guard with the cane, whilst Goomba is using the pots to throw at the guard to preserve his magic. And that was a flippers in the chest, so that's going to make our self-arrow checks a little bit more convenient. It means you don't have to worry about doing fake flipper or water walking. It's just all going to be in logic now, so you can do it nice and safely after mini-moldon without too many concerns. So to talk a little bit more about our teams whilst they are making their way out of escape. Last occasion and Team Awesome placed respectively 3rd and 2nd in the division. In the first place in the division is Fiami will do an interview. They're pretty determined to get Fiami to do an interview. But anyway, because of that, the Fiami will do an interview have got a bye on their first game. They don't have to play their first game. It's effectively counts as an automatic win for them. So that's why this first game is actually between our 2nd and 3rd place finishers.
Also, after having a rough start in the league, Last Location has finally made it to the play.
Yeah, they kind of lived up to the namesake of their team for quite some time, but really pulled it together in the last few weeks and stopped last locationing items and actually started getting wins.
I mean, they were still last locationing, but they were last locationing faster than their opponent, I guess.
Word of advice, if you name your team last locationers or missing bow, you're probably going to be last locationing or missing a bow. Say, name your team something like, we're going to win every game, and you'll probably win every game. So thalane is pulling quite a bit here ahead in escape. Ooh,
Oh, that
Goomba
8 bomb.
making that use. Yeah, you don't actually see many runners go for that rat farm in the northeast of escape, but quite a few skip it for some reason. They prefer to just farm rats in the back here or in the light room. But yeah, you get a huge crowd of rats in that corner, and Goomba gets an 8 bomb drop for it.
Yeah, that's exactly my point earlier. I prefer Burna over the Fire Rat because it's more convenient to farm the rats. You can do that for the ropes as well, but for the rats, more very convenient in that corner.
But we see that the bomb was completely useless because Goomba's now getting the same items that thalane did, just a huge amount of cash. It sorts out your bottle. It sorts out your bottle fender checking Cat Creeker, and it gets you a little way towards Zora. But yeah, just a whole lot of cash down there.
But it's
And
still convenient not to have the bag of skip in the mine when you leave. Especially when the glove can be in there sometimes, and you actually have to go back from the front. Having that out of your way is actually really nice.
And just 20 rupees in the sanctuary, so most of escape was just stuffed with cash. We did have the cane of burner from the uncle and the flippers and the moon pile coming up, but otherwise, cash, cash, cash.
I mean, with those flippers, cash is very nice because Zora is actually very early into the logic, so having that money very early would be very helpful. See, thalane got another bomb from was it the bush crab?
It was the bush crab, yeah. And that looks like just a hard container on the Aga ledge there, so lumberjack ledge. So Aga 1 isn't going to be necessary for that just yet, but we can't count out Aga 1 for now. May still need it for Dark World access. Hard container in the mushroom spot, which Goomba isn't going to pass up at this point in the game. thalane farming some more bombs from the bush crab here. 20 rupees in the thieves' hideouts, and thalane and Goomba is passing that up because he's already pretty flush with cash. So our Kakariko checks coming up here. Both our runners are loaded with cash, loaded with bombs. They don't have a bottle to do the sick kit, but that's pretty much the only limiting factor here. So in the bottom of Blind's hideout, we have 20 rupees, 10 hours, a mushroom, and power gloves. That's definitely escalating in terms of usefulness there. And for our bonus item at the back, we have a piece of heart. So that mushroom is kind of incentivizing the Zora area a bit more. Probably going to be seeing our runners loop up north there. They take the whirlpool to the waterfall cave, check out the Zora. Maybe they will loop south and do the magic shop at the same time. Bottom of the rail has a piece of heart for starters.
Some might say they would keep that mushroom if it has nothing in case they could fake powder later into the game if they get the cane very early.
True, if you're ending up with Dark World access and something like the Titan's Mitt and the Mirror or the Hammer to get into the Magic Rat Cave, yeah, well worth hanging on to that mushroom, but it's given the items we have, it's not going to be a kind of shortcut just yet. Another 10 hours in the chicken hut. Nothing else coming up in Kakariko so far, mostly arrows and one fetch crest.
And we still don't have a proper weapon aside from that cane in the bombs.
Yeah, it is going to sting if Verona decides to do something like go dip into Eastern Palace early or something like that. We can't get into Desert Palace and we can't get into South Hair and we don't have Dark World access, so Eastern Palace is our only potential dungeon dive. That was a medallion on the library ledge. Looked like bombers to me.
It was either. It was either.
Ah, okay, Eva. 20 rupees on this game, and Goomba is out.
So Goomba going for that mushroom straight away. Not having to fake flippers now that they have the flippers, but I imagine even without the flippers, he would have done that.
So if his mushroom terms has been useless, it costs him a little bit of time and potentially fake powder later, but he has got the flippers to go straight in that whirlpool and save himself a maximum amount of time. And Thalane actually made a bit of a gamble there, going straight for the race game to rather than checking the item, so he also lost a little bit of time there, Che, because as we saw, it was just 20 rupees. Mushroom only yields a piece of heart.
Where is Thalane going though?
I imagine he's setting up a hula here play here. He wants to get the cash immediately for Zora to just check it out straight away. So he's using that bomb to displace his sprite a little bit, which means when he falls into the pit, the game doesn't actually know he's falling into a back of escape. So the game being confused, it puts him into the hula cave as a backup. So this gives Flame plenty of cash to check out Zora and do anything else, like maybe buy a red potion, maybe get into Paths of Darkness later if he picks up no more rupees along the way. Goomba's a little bit short of cash for Zora.
I feel the Holy Hand play was kind of early, especially with those flippers. You can definitely wait until you check Minimal Cave, even Ice Shot Cave, to see if you have enough money. But since you have the flippers, you actually don't lose that much time if you to get back to the water, basically.
Yeah, I would agree, actually. There's quite a few more chests coming up here in the south of Hyrule, and there's quite a good chance some of them will have some cash for Goomba. Perhaps not enough to check out Zora, but again, he's got Hobo, he's got the Waterfall Cave on his way, potentially even the ledge at Zora area. Ooh, nice full drop of bombs from the Mordom there. So because the runner's still stuck with the Kanon bombs, Goomba's just going for bomb strats to take out the Mordoms.
Like right now, the 300 drop. That's what you kind of want to expect by doing Mini Moldum first when you have the flippers and not going straight for the Holy Hand. I would go for Holy Hand, for example, if you don't have the flippers, but since you have them, you kind of want to check everything before you do that Holy Hand.
The Goomba is just immediately heading straight to head north to the Hobo instead of checking out Iceberg Cave, which is a bit unusual, but sometimes people skip Iceberg Cave because they don't have the boots and decide we're going to check it later when they have boots and flute.
I kind of expect him to go back to that Iceberg Cave. Ooh. Hello, Dark World Access.
Yeah, Titan's missed from Hobo, so that's going to probably incentivize going straight into the Dark World from the Kakariko area. If Lane is going straight for Ice Rock Cave, we'll see if Goomba decides to head south to do that or just head over to Zora. And yeah, Goomba's headed straight over there. Another 10 hours in Ice Rock Cave. We've had a lot of 10-hour drops so far. Not even a bow to make use of them yet.
I mean, it's not really the ideal setup for Dark World Access. Like, you don't have a proper weapon, and you have mids for Dark World Access. Not very convenient for now.
Yeah, it means you always have to go into Kakariko, go into the Lost Woods and loop around to, well, not loop around, but lift up that rocks to get into Dark World, and you don't have access to any of the other entryways, which you would need the hammer for. So are my eyes deceiving me, or did thalane skip Hobo? He's
I think it
pulled.
did.
Yeah, he is over there in the waterfall cave. Looks like he skipped Hobo. Ooh. Hopefully he decides he's running out of item checks very... Pretty much so. He hasn't got very much left that he could check out. He's got the eastern area with Shahasala, Eastern Palace itself, and Nagina, but Hobo is not a check I would skip out on.
I mean, should be on his way to Eastern Palace. I would say he would totally check that before going to the Eastern area.
Right, what is our fishy friend coughing up to date? Just a very, very small refund. So the huge amount of 300 rupee drops we got were basically useless. That's to be expected of Sora.
Actually, checking the mushroom first.
It makes sense that they're doing these mushroom checks early. When you've got popping up like this so early in season, not much means to get around elsewhere. At least on Verlaine's side, because Goomba, of course, has those mitts. You want to check it so that you, in case it's got something like your hammer or your mitts or something else to get you further in the seed.
So Goomba actually saved and quit after checking the mushroom. Let's see if thalane actually keeps that mushroom. And he does.
Yeah, just taking the hard reset to save scum his mushroom back into his inventory. I've got to see where Verlaine routes from here. He's starting from Link's house, so he could be going south to Agina. He's not. He's going east, probably to Eastern Pass, but he might decide to go back to Hobo. And since he's looping south, he is going to Hobo. Alright, map check on Goomba's side. 5 and 6 crystals in Swamp Palace and Thieves Town, and I believe there's pendants in Paths of Darkness and Turtle Rock.
Yep, green pendant is Paths of Darkness and the other pendant is Turtle Rock.
This game not having much of worth. Now, we've got an unusual decision here. Goomba could decide to dive into Thieves Town and try and clear out as much of it as possible, but he's only got the Cane of Burner to beat Blind with, and Cane isn't exactly an ideal item for him.
I mean, I know Goomba for playing a lot with it. He won't dive into Thieves Town, I think. Oh, he actually does. Never mind. He usually do that, but I guess since it's a balanced thalane, I might have some different routing than usual. Or probably just checking first 4.
Now, you can beat Blind with the Cane, but you're going to need quite a lot of magic to do that, and Goomba is quite low on magic at the moment. He's going to have to hope for a drop summer here in a dungeon if he really wants to beat Blind.
Yeah, there are some riffles in the dungeons, like near the switch. I think there are 2 smalls next to the bomb. And there's also a riffle in blind style, but I don't think that's enough still. I mean, that's really, really tight.
You're going to have to see if Goomba knows about those magic refills and lifts up the right pots to get them. So best case for Goomba would probably be to pull a sword or some other weapon out here in the front, but he's actually taking a death warp to get back out. So only checking the first 4 chests, which makes sense given he's got a lack of magic, but it's going to be a double dip for him later.
I mean, having a map in that chest, I think he found a compass as well. I wouldn't go to the back as well. Yeah, there's an item in that big chest, probably. And you wouldn't want to skip that.
Indeed. Many people don't like skipping that big chest because if you have to go back into Thieves Town just for that big chest, it costs you a lot of time just to basically get through almost all of the dungeon just to check out the big chest. But lack of hammer is burning a bit for Goomba. And Verlaine, rather than going into Thieves Town, is making the dive into Skull Woods instead. Big key from the first chest. And a compass in second. And Goomba does only 2 digs and finds a piece of heart, and he just leaves that behind. So Flame gonna get his Ganty small key from this chest, and Goomba is retrieving the blacksmith after doing the digging game.
Digging the smith on the tour. I don't know if it's gonna go all the way to Catfish, since he has the flippers. Because that might be a possibility, like going check the pyramid and Catfish. I wouldn't do it. And we have another cane for blind. One of the weapons that can actually hurt it.
I'd say the Cane of Samaya is, well, depends how good you have with your block first, really. It saves you quite a bit of magic compared to Cane of Burner, and it would allow Goomba to kill blind with much less magic. Now, it doesn't look like Thalane has found any items here in the front of Skull Wood, so I think there's going to be an item in the back, which he's going to need a fire rod for. Skull Woods is a crystal, so he is going to need that fire rod eventually anyway. And there's a small key there. So yeah, one more item in the back. Ooh, bow in Hype Cave for Goomba.
A very good hype cave. So Goomba is not saving at the moment. That bow could actually send him into Palace of Darkness. He could trade that frog for a monkey. Let's see what he decides right now. We also got our first bottle in Hype Cave.
Foggy's going for a swim in his natural habitat.
I mean, especially when Palace of Darkness is actually a pendant. Even though it's a green pendant. No, he's actually opting out of Palace of Darkness for now.
Well, whilst there are a lot of items in Palace of Darkness, if you did want to check out the green pendant, you can't get down to Helmasaur without a hammer. So I'd expect Goomba at this point to be checking out Pyramid, maybe Catfish, hand a blacksmith in, and then possibly do Eastern Palace. Just a red boomerang on a Pyramid. Ooh, now he is looping south, so
Yeah,
we're going to get a follower trade here.
He's trading that frog for a monkey, definitely.
So I have actually never seen this before. I'm just wondering what happens to the frog when you trade it for a monkey. It looks like they've kind of got stuck there in the maze and it's left to rot for a bit and make its way back to getting trapped behind the rocks and outside the Village of Outcasts, I guess.
I mean, sure, you cannot check Helmasaur King, but you can check the entirety of the dungeon. That's actually worth, in my opinion. Let's see if the dungeon was actually bowlocked for now. Maybe bowlocked in the end, but the first chest tells a lot. And it was bowlocked.
Thalane is also displeased with the first 4 items he found in the front of Thieves' Town and bombs himself to get back to the front. So both our runners doing quite similar plays here.
Yeah, thank you, Hen. I mean,
Yeah,
I can... Go ahead.
Castle hints are particularly redundant given that this is a standard seed and you have to clear all of the castle anyway to get to this point.
I can get Goomba's decision to go into Palace of Darkness. You don't have the hammer, you're already here, and getting there is actually a lot of walking. So doing that check, doing the catfish check is actually very easy. I mean, less longer than doing the pot check at this point. Since you have the flip, I mean, you can still do a current jump to get back to catfish, but it's still shorter to get back to catfish than to pod.
And like you mentioned, it is, if you're just checking out pod for items and skipping Helmasaur, it's not that big a deal unless you know Helmasaur has an item. The problem with pod routing is that without the mirror, you do have to kill yourself quite a lot to get back to the entrance. So Goomba just runs into this base to give us yet another death warp of the run so far. Thalane also doing his foggy roll too. He's going to get his bottle and a bow from Hypercave here very shortly.
So we got a whole lot of keys for now. I mean, it's Path of Darkness, so front it's always loaded with keys, at least 4, and we have the big key as well.
If you get the big key early like that, I usually try and skip the vanilla big key chest because it's usually you're spending a key to get a key, but so it's just a little bit of waste of time.
So 1 item, the big key, and the 4 small keys for now.
Right, I think that covers most of our small keys, so should be the business from now on. As a few commentators like to put it, Palace of Darkness, well, what am I saying? Palace of Darkness is usually business in the front, party in the back. So, but no, that's another small key, so I think that's our last one. And
that was the map. That was the map.
That's the map. Yeah, Goomba went for that quick check to see it. Just
technically, he's out of logic now since it doesn't have a lamp, but the lamp might be just sitting in D-Town or something, or on Catfish. Now comes the hard part, where you don't have a sword to actually go through the maze, but I expect him still to get down here.
He's got quite a lot of hours to work with. Okay, that wasn't the compass, but I couldn't tell what item it was instead.
I would say it was bomb, because he used one to open the big chest, and now he has 10. Oh wait, he picked that one up after the bridge, so had to be blue.
Right, Thalane is going for that catfish check on that Goomba. And he gets us a sword for his trouble. That was definitely worth it for Thalane.
And that's the compass. So how about the king has an item?
Yeah, that's going to be nasty.
It was a shield. Goomba has a shield. I saw it. It was a shield.
That Palace of Darkness dive was a complete bust for Goomba. Unless Thalane decides to also check out passive darkness for item. That's pretty much burned away all of the advantage Goomba has so far. Sick Kid just has 20 rupees. Okay, back of Salashaska's closet, he has the famous single arrow, 10 arrows and 50 rupees.
Ooh, Smith had the fire rod.
So Goomba has possibly made the worst trade he could think of here. He traded a Smithville monkey, and the monkey mostly made an unhygienic mess and didn't get Goomba anything, whilst thalane has claimed a sword from Catfish and a fire rod from Smith's.
So thalane gonna be able to complete Skullwoods. Probably gonna complete these down at this point. I mean, you don't want a third trip here, I guess. Unless very necessary.
So Goomba can clear all of Eastern Palace here. The back part is going to be out of logic because he doesn't have a lamp, so he's got the big key already. He may decide to check out the vanilla big key chest, depending on what items he has from the dungeon or not. He's going to be hoping that the map and compass don't pop up so that he knows they're from the Amos Knights and that chest. So there's a map, so unfortunately for Goomba. thalane is heading straight over to Mothula. If Mothula has the second item of Skullwoods, he is done here. If he doesn't, then he just has to go back into dungeon again to check out that chest. So thalane took a few hits from the Gibdozer, and I just saw the Mizumaya hit. That was a map and something else locked.
And a compass. Like,
That's a really convenient hint.
Very, very convenient hit for Meyer.
thalane doesn't have too much health here, but he's got quite a bit of magic for the fire rod, so I don't think he's going to have too much trouble with Mothula here. Assuming Mothula ever gets out of the corner.
Still a fire sword, so it requires still a lot of hits from it.
Takes a hit from Mothula, but thalane has been doing a very good job of dodging these spikes so far. And down he goes. Nice kill. So thalane gets our first crystal at 33 minutes in. There is another item he can check out, but it is going to be a drop, and Big Key Chest has our final 300 rupees drop of the seed in Eastern Palace. A whole lot of cash in this seed, and basically Magic Shop had nothing when you're handing in the mushroom, Zora had nothing, Palace of Darkness had nothing unless there's an item on Helmasaur, or the Green Pendant, and the Bottle Vendor had nothing, so all of his cash has been basically useless.
We have a cape on Thalane's side. Let's see if Bumper Cave is actually something.
Yeah, chat mentioned that there's actually a sword on Bumper Cave, so thalane is probably going to be taking the time to get that sword.
Yeah, definitely. So what do we have left in Logic? Thief Town and probably a Gina. We can get into Ice, kinda, but not really the play you want to make.
Yeah, ice without much means of defense or the hammer is just really icky. That said, the hammer can pop up there. And there's that Master Sword, so Thalane is taking the time to grab that. Goomba spending very little time with Armor Knights for 5 rupees. So Eastern Palace also a bust. But he doesn't get his first crystal.
So still an item on Hammer King. That bow was useless for now. Unfortunately for Goomba, I guess.
Yeah, the gamble to trade the smith for the monkey has not really paid off for him at all. He also had a opportunity to check out Catfish and did not check out Catfish. And Catfish, of course, had that. Well, he didn't have the fire rod, but he did have the the sword.
That sword that was actually locking the other one. Since oh no, it doesn't, since it's actually in the chest below the bridge. So you actually can access that sword, but that's kind of a tricky move to do if you want to get a sword from Moth.
Just needed the fire rod from the blacksmith to get that second sword.
But I don't see Goomba actually going for that cape without having a sword beforehand.
Yeah, he's probably gonna get his blacksmith back again here and get his fire rod, and that won't send him into Skullwoods really, unless he decides to check out for items, because he can't get into the back and take on Mothlia without a sword. Well, he's going to check it out for items, so this isn't going to work very well for him. He's going to be a forced double dip, unfortunately for Goomba. Oh, just that one gamble has sent him on entirely the wrong track here in the seed. Craig is in Desert Palace. I do love the just the hints that outright tell you, hey, this item is here.
Still nice to know that, especially medallions can really be a pain to look for. So where one of them is actually very nice. Even though like T-Rock is still pendant, but you never know. We already have the cane. And the fire rod. If we get access to Salt Rock, then we can go actually to Laser Bridge.
So one more chest to check out here for Goomba, and then I imagine he'll probably take it safe and crit or just walk out. Yeah, he's just going to walk out. So Thalane, of course, doesn't have a hammer yet, so there's still going to be an item hiding in the big chest here in Thieves Town. So that might burn him depending on where that hammer is and when Goomba decides to go back to Thieves Town.
It's actually a small key. The key was locked by
yes.
itself.
Yeah, so he hasn't got indeed. So he got his last item there from the chest by the maiden, so yep, no need for hammer to check out that big chest. Quite convenient for him.
But we know we're not gonna find the hammer on Blind, since having the small key here means that Blind is actually hammer locked. So still no hammer inside. With few checks in logic still.
Goomba choosing to go into Thieves Town again, so he'll get his second crystal. He You will have to take on blind if either of the canes. You can't actually hurt him with the bow or the firewall for that matter, so going back to get the smith for that firewall isn't going to hurt Goomba too badly here. It's just hurting him in every other area so far.
Right now, I actually see thalane routing Purple Chest and Nagina before going to Easter. We might have our answer on what the progression is then. I mean, if both Purple Chest and Nagina have nothing, the answer is actually Ice Palace at this point.
Disgusting, but I've seen hammers there before. I've also seen hammers in the front of swamp. Never pleasant. So Purple Chest was nothing. Thalane's going to Agina. Agina's been hanging out here for quite a long time now, within access to her runners, but not choosing to go over there because they had other things to do. But we are running out of locations now, so Thalane's going for it.
And it is Humblous Ice Palace coming.
Quite painful, and Goomba can't get in here yet because no fire rod.
I see thalane doing Eastern Fur. I mean, it's a crystal, so why not? Let's see if he decides to go into bot after that. I mean, the bow, he doesn't know it, but the bow doesn't unlock anything, but you have it. So you might think that it actually unlocks something.
So if Thalane does decide to go into Paths of Darkness, this will allow Goomba to catch up a bit, luckily for him. You know there's nothing really here in the Eastern Palace apart from the crystal. So which cane does Goomba favour? The blue cane. He's got full magic, so this isn't going to be a problem for him. He just has to run inside blind all the time. So there's second crystal for Goomba. Now from here, he's in the perfect spot to go to the blacksmiths again and get a fur rod. But it's going to still be problematic for him unless he goes over to Catfish to get that sword.
Yeah, not having a sword, I think, gonna hurt him a little bit. Well, let's see if he decides to actually check the Catfish after grabbing that smith. Because you basically don't have anything left at this point. The only play you could make was going to the mountain, but you only have 2 items here, so I wouldn't go there yet.
So Thalane knows he is lamplocked at the moment, but he is going for that big key chest, which just had 300 rupees, so this is something that Goomba also did, allows him to catch up just a little bit here.
I mean, you already find the map and the compass, so you know there's an item here. If I remember correctly, Armor's Net had 5 rupees, so you know there's an item here.
Yeah.
Can't really skip it. Can't really gamble that when you know it's an item.
So Goomba gets his firewood, probably feeling a little bit sore about that. Doesn't have his sword yet. So without a sword, he still cannot do Scarred Woods, because he needs that sword to cut the vines in the back to get him off there.
Actually, going back to the Dark Hole, so what is it gonna be? Catfish or the purple chest?
Oh no, he's going north.
He's going to Catfish. Oh, is he actually going to get the cape? Would I give him sword? He is.
Well, he doesn't know that the cape is there, but he knows that an item is potentially there on a Mothra, and so he's just going for the item. So this is probably the play that would have cost him the most amount of time, but it's not like a total loss.
But I don't see him going for the mod just after that. Like, you know, there's no item left. Even though a mod is required, like, you wouldn't want a better equipment after going there. You have both items, so it's fine. It would just be a waste of time to go back for the mod at this point, after getting the cape here.
So Goomba gets his cape, and he's still in the dungeon. Does he remember that he needs a sword to get him off there?
Just getting out. He haven't checked Bumper Ledge yet, so going for that, since he has a cape now.
Okay, I was expecting him to take a save and crit, which I think would be just a bit quicker than getting out of Skullwoods here, but I've never really timed it, so I'm not too sure. But yeah, he's just taking the long walk out.
So thalane actually not going into bot, but going into Ice Palace directly.
If Elaine knows that quite a few items in pod are going to be locked to him because he has no lamp, so that would mostly be the chests in the front and Harmless Hellway. So he's going for the Ice Palace gamble instead, and this is going to work for him because there's nowhere else progress can be at this point.
I mean, pod is really out of the way if you look at it. But that's actually a very good hint. Don't have to go back to north of Darkwold.
Nice use of the double bomb set to take out all the pen gates in the room, and there's the lamp, so that now puts Eastern Palace in pod in logic.
Yeah, that's our first item here. There's still at least 2 chests that you can check in logic. Maybe 3 or 4, depending if you get a big key or not.
Yeah, there's got to be some other means of progress down here, because this just lets us do stuff we've already done, which didn't lead to anything at all.
But even if they're hookshot locked, I would expect the thalane to go for the spy chest.
Hint says a unique item is in Paradox Cave. You often do get unique items in there, but you often check out Paradox Cave much earlier in the seed. We're 50 minutes in, and we still have no Death Mountain access. Well, actually, we do have Death Mountain access now that Thalane has that lamp, but it only gets him to the west portion on the Light World side.
I mean, at this point, like, progression could actually be on the Old Man or in Spectacle Rock. It is in logic now, that's the thing. And there's only 2 items left in Ice Palace as well.
Ooh, 20 rupees.
That's what I thought. Like doing the bomb jump, ice palace bomb jump when you don't have the hammer, when the darker is actually in logic. I don't know. I just feel like it's wasting a bit of time.
You just get a few more hints for his job orders, such as a unique item requires a boot. So it's useful to know if you haven't checked out Lumberjack yet. But we
It
have
might
checked out
just be
Lumberjack,
Quake.
it's just a
That's the
hard
thing.
container.
It might just be Quake. Because we know Quake is in Desert Palace. It might just be on the torch.
Ah, true, yes. It could also be something like Ice Sword, and when we have a pendant tail to rock. Watch me say that and try and access something like the hook shot. So, big key in Chester, and thalane is out.
And that Biggie's out of logic since you don't have a hook shot. I mean, not yet, still, because we don't know what's in the Dark Cross. That's the thing.
So Goomba is going over to check Lumberjack here, and he could be sequence breaking up to Death Mountain without that lamp, which is the play that Savanos needs to do at this point.
It is the play, and we still don't know what's in the Dark Cross. The big key is out of logic, so it might be in the Dark Cross or might be just here.
We saw. I don't remember what Dark Cross was, but surely we saw
Dark
it.
Cross, icy room. My bad. It's a cross.
Yeah.
It's a cross. It's icy room is some logic, and that's why I didn't really understand why thalane did the bomb jump. It's just like without hammer, you don't really want to get to that icy room very, very inefficiently.
Old man has a heart container, so progress in Spectacle Rock confirmed.
Or in icy room.
Goomba having a bit worse luck with these falling cauliflowers than thalane is.
So it's an icy room. It's an icy room.
Grumble. Yeah, that's about probably both runner sentiments right now.
But thalane doesn't know about it. Like he's going to pot at this point. He's going to pot. Goomba stocking on potion. I think like he has the bottle in hand before going into ice. That bomb jump in Ice Palace really cost thalane a lot, in my opinion. Not the one to cross the gap to the firebar room, but the Ice Palace bomb jump that you do in the vanilla game.
Maybe Goomba will go over to do Catfish before he dives into Ice Palace, where he will get his second sword and essentially be caught up with thalane. Just have to see where he goes. But he's just heading straight to Ice Palace.
I mean, the only location he has left aside from that is Catfish. And you can't really blame thalane for going to pot after getting that land. Like, that's definitely the logical play, but yeah, that bomb jump will cost him a lot.
So what do you think is hiding here down in Ice Palace? A hammer? A hookshot? Maybe boots?
Hookshot or mirror.
I think a book at this point would also be pretty rubbish.
Mirror wouldn't do. Mirror wouldn't do a lot. I mean, no, Mirror would be the worst actually.
Yeah, mirror gets you into Swan Palace, and you could potentially have your hammer popping up there behind the bomb or wall.
So Mirror would unlock K45. We know Graven Sledge is nothing, and we have Hera and Swan Palace. So Mirror would be the worst. It can't be the boots. No, wait. It was a unique item in Paradox Cave. Everybody knows that when it's a unique item, it's the boots.
Yeah, the item hints we so far had is Crake is in Desert Palace, flat out. A unique item requires the boots, and a unique item is in Paradox Cave. But there's still quite a lot of unique items we don't have yet, so could be any manner of convoluted progression here.
So let's see if Goomba decides to do the bomb jump as well.
He really decides he wants to waste a lot of time. He'll do the exact same bomb jump, go over to Catfish, get his sword, and then hopefully go back into Ice Palace. Or
that's a bomb jump. I feel you can't really escape on Icy Room when you're hammerlocked.
Ooh, nice stairs clip there. Saves you a couple of seconds, but it's so nice to see. Goomba is thinking a bit. He's taking the fall.
Yeah, he's going to Ice Room. He's gonna get the answer to all our troubles. But Ice Room might just have a small key and the answer is in the big chest though.
I mean, given the way the seed has been so far, we're just kind of thinking of the worst ways it could be for our runners right now. So, yep, it could be a key in the chest here, followed by book or mirror in the big chest. Alright, Ice-T, what goods have you got? You've got a hook shot.
Not going even further. Steve's out.
Well, Ice Palace is a crystal, and he'd much rather just go back there. Potentially in go mode, or just with the hammer so that he can finish the dungeon. He wants to get the upper chests.
He got the 3 items from Ice Palace as well.
Yes. It's not even any reason to check out that right side.
Like, you won't go to Ice Palace anymore unless you have to. I mean, when you're gonna have to clear it with hammer. It is indeed a very awful seed. Having lamp and hookshot in Ice Palace.
Okay, bottom of Paradox Cave is useless. We know some kind of unique item is here. We've seen the single arrow, so it can't be that.
I'm just expecting the boots. Or the hammer, I mean, at this point. But progression is definitely up here. There's a second sword for Goomba. Yeah, there's a boot, and we know there's a unique item behind the boots as well. So,
pretty good Paradox Cave, especially for Goomba since he didn't have that second sword yet. It's going to be better for thalane since you get the tempered from it, but Master Sword will let Goomba finish the seed now at least. He doesn't have to go check Catfish. He probably should.
I don't think he will ever check Catfish at this point. He's gonna have progression and progression. Catfish is definitely isolated for him. I don't see him going there until he has to, and he won't ever have to.
Goomba checking out Spiral Cave here. He's probably going to go straight back to the top of the mountain and see what Medallion Turtle Rock is. Check out Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave. Thalane is done with Pod, and he's headed back into Ice Palace to get his hookshot from Ice T. Now, Thalane isn't really behind Goomba at this point. He's going to have a sword advantage when he gets into Paradox Cave, and he has cleared out Skull Woods, which Goomba hasn't been able to do because he didn't have a sword at that time. So it's kind of difficult to say that Goomba really has the lead here. If Goomba happens to find a tempered sword among his other checks, then yeah, that's going to benefit him greatly. But if he doesn't, then Thalane will have a significant sword advantage eventually. But he's got to get all the way back down to bottom of Ice T first. Popping up in Super Bunny Cave, but we have got Hookshot Cave. We don't know what's on the light rolled mirror ledge yet, so we can't see that. I don't believe Goomba actually had a look at the item that was there. He doesn't have the mirror anyway, so...
There's our hammer.
Hey!
So we need a flute, a mirror, or a book, and a medallion for Mr. Meyer, which we know Quake isn't desert. Speaking of Quake.
Quake for Turtle Rock, but I don't think anyone is going to be heading in there just yet. Ooh, interesting play from Goomba here. He's going to take that hammer straight over to Spike Cave. Most well do it since he's already at the top of the mountain.
He also has bubbles. He has cape. He has everything. It's in logic, so why not?
Just 3 bombs, but good to get it out of the way.
I actually think Goomba skipped a hint in Ice Palace, but I don't know which one it was. I know which one it was.
He skipped it. Like one that's a Thalane that got in the north part, which he had to use a bomb jump to get to. Goomba skipped that one.
What was the hint?
It was something about the boots or Paradox Cave. I don't remember which one. Thalane gets his hook shot. He's not really upset about it or showing any upset because he's in the race setting. He knows he's got to go fast and he knows he can't waste any time on frivolous anger.
Goomba, so you forgot about Bonk Rocks. And you know there's a unique item behind boots. Oh! That's a book.
Yeah, that opens up Desert Palace.
That's quite bad in my opinion. It's like the book gives access to Desert Palace, which gives you Quake to open Tulsa Rock.
So from here, I reckon Goomba's gonna check out Magic Bat, probably do Skullwoods, and then head into Desert.
I wouldn't go Skullwood still. You have both items.
Yeah, but it's a crystal, and he's gonna have to do it at some point, so might as well do it whilst he's in the area.
He's gonna have to come back eventually to activate the flute, so I wouldn't go to Skullwoods yet, still.
I suppose. He does need that fruit to get over to Mizumaya, and Mizumaya is a crystal, so yeah, I see your point. Hey, Silver's from the magic.
Gonna be very good. Especially when you have a non-mollusk in common, I guess.
Flame gets his boots and cat stick from Paradox Cave.
Oh yeah, there was Ether on the library as well. So one bad thing that book could open is actually the Ether tablet as well. But I don't think that's gonna be the case. I mean, you would want to go for that quake before going back to the mountain anyways, so...
Yeah. And once you do go back to mountain to it potentially to open up Turtle Rock, the Ether tablet doesn't cost you too much time to just run over and check. So Goomba's headed into desert. He is going to be able to finish it, and he's going to get Quake somewhere in here. Hopefully he gets something else that will allow him to ignore that Quake, like the flute.
I mean, it's only one item. The probabilities are actually very low, especially since we know that Turtle Rock is in logic, and you can open that. But Tough Hera is actually also available to us now. Couldn't go back since we don't have a mirror, and we got a mirror in the Dark World. It's also open with that Ether tablet. And that's a piece of heart, so I guess the answer is on the mountain.
Alright, so when thalane eventually gets to this point, it's going to benefit thalane because he has already finished Skullwoods. Goomba still has to go back there, as well as go up to the mountain. But this is turning out to be quite linear in the mid game so far. Some cash held by someone friendly. We've seen all 4 300 rupee drops already, so... Yeah. So it looks like Craig is on land murders.
Very, very linear. But yeah, at this point, I would expect the progression to be in TR. The only other location that would be available to our runners would be the Green Pendant.
Oh yeah, there's that green pendant. Helmasaur has an item, and green pendant itself is of course an item. Ooh. Yeah, there's a bunch of locations open to us now, like Helmasaur King, Tower of Hera, Turtle Rock, and none of them are pleasant. You can even go in the front of Swamp. Well, no, you can't go in the front of Swamp, no, that's right.
Yep, chat pointing out Hammerflex is open as well.
And in Goomba's case, he's still got Catfish. You get a sword at least, so it's probably the best possible result for him if he goes to Catfish.
I mean, getting the silvers were actually nice for Goomba. And didn't actually get the silvers. He went back straight into Ice Palace. I mean, sure, he's not gonna save a lot of. I mean, maybe with a float would have been faster, just a few seconds faster, but he has all 3 items. he just has to clear it anyways. No. There's no other item in Ice Palace. It was the lamp, 20. I mean, a red rupee and the hookshot, if I remember correctly. And
Yes.
And the 20 rupees was in the freezer room.
So it looks like Goomba's going to be heading up to the top of the mountain. Probably check that ether tablets and then probably diving into Turtle Rock. None of these are pleasant choices.
We would
I mean,
definitely do Hera first, since
Yeah.
he doesn't have a mirror. Actually, going to Turtle Rock without checking Hera. Interesting play.
He might be assuming he has mirror, but he doesn't have mirror. We're looking for mirror. Mirror and food basically being go mode items right now.
I mean, I can
Unless...
get... Yeah, you have the King, you have Quake. It's thing, right? You have them. There might be something behind that. I like that hint. In an earlier match in the league, Goomba got at the exact same spot that the unique item was in the left side of the swamp, which was the shovel, which led him to his hookshot. That was Vanilla in Swamp. So that's why that hint kind of made me laugh. So fourth crystal for thalane. Could get the fifth one rather easily.
Thalane heading south to Desert Palace. So, shovel on the west wing of Swamp Palace. I could still lead an item if we find mirror before flute. Ooh, Goomba takes a lot of bites from the chain thompson and gets sent back to the front. But he's got a fairy, so he stays where he is for now. But yeah, that shovel could potentially lead to flute.
A vanilla flute, though.
We could also be looking at a item on a pedestal, depending on where Ice Rod is.
Ice Rod hasn't shown up yet. Really, really unlikely at this point. Still possible, though.
Mirror to get into Swamp in to get the shovel so that you dig up an Ice Rod with a shovel to kill Trinex, who drops a flute, perhaps. But then you wouldn't need to do the pedestal.
Chine putting out that thalane actually didn't pick the silvers. But he has a sword advantage over Goomba. Because I don't see him actually... Actually, he may have to pick up that ether, and that's when he maybe gonna get it.
Yeah, I think if he decides to go back for Ether Medallion, there's no chance he's going to miss Silver Arrows too.
And depending if they have a flute for go mode, maybe gonna skip on those servers. Like you have 2 medallion. At this point, you have to gamble a little bit with that bomb not being required for Maya.
So Goomba skipping by Mimic Cave because, of course, no mirror. I want to Mimic Cave a flute. Those 2 items could be in so many awful locations right now. And even then, we could have something like Bombos to get into Maya and Bombos being on a pedestal. This seed could still go so wrong in so many ways.
It's already very bad as it is, with the hookshot being in Ice Palace, with Hammer being locked behind the hookshot.
Goomba kind of expressing his displeasure there with having to check Laser Bridge. If this Laser Bridge is a bus frame, then this Turtle Rock frame was completely useless. So, we really have to hope for Goomba that he gets an item here. Piece of Heart is not an item that he wants. Map. Mirror! Oh no! I hope he remembers to use that mirror to go check Mimic Cave.
He will definitely check Mimic. You have to at this point. So actually gambling that T-Rock would have the mirror, I guess. I don't know if we're gonna check Hera yet.
Well, if Goomba wants to check out Hera, he can do it so much easier now with that mirror.
But I would expect him to go to Tom at this point. You're not coming at another time. Yep. So we are actually a flute, maybe a bombos from go mode.
It's all dependent on that flute, and it might be in Swamp. We know the shovel is in Swamp. Goomba is probably going to get that shovel. Thalane is heading into Spike Cave. You'll have to see if he also decides to go to Turtle Rock straight away or decides to check out the Ether Tablet and Tower of Hell first. The flute could be there. But if the flute is set, it is going to send him in entirely the wrong direction, away from Turtle Rock.
Depending whether or not he would be able to open Meyer, I would say. But yeah,
yes.
Definitely not going to Turtle Rock yet if you find the flute in Hera.
A pretty much useless hint there in the front of Swamp.
Thalane making the play to Hera, and the T tablet as well.
It's the smart play. Checking out Hera allows you to, and the Ether Tablet allows you to go into Turtle Rock straight after. So it is a smart play, but if Thalane finds nothing here, it's going to cost him a little bit of time. A piece of heart from the skies at the Ether Tablet. The basement of Hera has 3 bombs.
Only 1 item left. It might actually be locked behind the tire room of Tower of Hera, which you don't really want to see. You have to climb. Nope, that's the big key. That's what I mean. It could still be here.
Yeah, that hinter was kind of rubbing salt in the wound. You find 3 bombs in the basement of here, and then the hinter says, I bet he'd like to have more bombs. Ooh, a nice big key there for Goomba, so he's just going to be able to check out this chest straight away and then go to the back.
I mean, he knows what's on the left side as well. So that's actually very convenient for him, not having to back if he ever needs to.
Half magic in the top of hair. Ooh, Thalane gets that piece of artisan Mimic Cave hint, so he knows he doesn't need Mirror for Mimic Cave now.
I just don't get... I mean, pedestal, he's going for a pedestal gamble. He has both items. At this point, if you're killing Moldorm, you're gambling for the pedestal.
But at the same time, killing Moldom doesn't really take a lot of time at all. If he wants to get out to half air, he's either have to death warp or just walk out, so it really doesn't cost him that much time at all just to kill Moldom whilst he's here, just in case it's pedestal. I doubt he's thinking pedestal just yet, he's just doing this incidentally because he's here. So, with those items, Thalane is going to be heading into Turtle Rock now. He'll save a little bit of time not checking out the cave, but he is going to have to dive into the very bottom of it to get that mirror from Laser Bridge. Almost got blocked by the dead rock there, but he manages to kind of bounce past it and get through the gap.
Actually, still surprised that after all those checks, our 2 runners are actually still rocking the green mail.
I mean, it's probably going to be blue mail behind Ice Armas and red mail in vanilla location in Gan's Tower.
So, no flute yet. We know that the shovel is here. Is Goomba gonna go for it?
I mean, in terms of other pendant dungeons that he can do, all he can do is go back to Helmets and go up to Tower of Hair. He's leaving it behind.
He has like Bamboo Tablet K45. I think he knows about Gravet Sledge. There's the blue mail. Also, something that opened with that Swamp Palace is the red bomb.
Yeah, I was just thought of that, and it looks like he's taking the mere portal back into Dark World, so he can exactly do that.
He would take K45 before that, though. And he actually can route that catfish with it, so he's probably gonna get the tempered if he doesn't get the flute.
I don't fault Goomba that much for leaving the shovel behind. Getting the shovel takes a lot of time, and if the shovel is useless, it's just going to be a huge time sink for him. If he does want to get into the swamp again, then yeah, that's going to be another time sink, but probably not as bad as just getting that shovel in the first place once you're in swamp. He knows that because of that hint, he knows that the second item on the left side is compass, so he doesn't really have much reason to go there unless he wants to fully commit to a shovel check. And he's got quicker things to do, like, say, the Pyramid Fairy. Ooh, he's going for the dashing to the top here to try and get that bomb back. And he gets it off. It's pretty tight to do that, but if you can get it back onto the screen with the bomb ticking to 0, you actually get it back with you. So you can leave it behind and dash all the way and just barely get it back.
Goomba, you took back your bomb before it exploded. And that's the raid mail. Still no sign of the flute, though. What do we have left? Helmet King, that shovel spot.
Goomba's still leaving behind Catfish. Where's he going? Is he going for Helmer? He's going for Helmer.
He's going for Helmer. Actually going for Helmer instead of Catfish that he left behind. I mean, at this point, you probably guessed your opponent checked Catfish. So if it's in Catfish, he probably think that he lost. So I get the play why he's committing to that Helma play. Definitely.
I mean, luckily for Goomba, he knows that the crystals he's missed out on, Ice Palace and Skull Woods, there's no more items to get in those. He just has to go inside and get the crystals. So he's still checking for stuff before he goes and finishes off his crystals.
The other thing is, like, he will go back to the mountain after that if he finds nothing. Or the ice shroud. He's also maybe thinking pedestal as well. But for now, I think he thinks Green Pendant.
Oh, this is actually a good point, because he hasn't finished off Skull Woods yet, so he could easily root in the pet check when he does go to Skull Woods. In fact, he probably did that before going to the mountain.
But for now it's Green Pendant, but if he finds the ice shroud, he would definitely check that pedestal. It doesn't have much, but yeah, it doesn't have much left anyways. And that's definitely one of the things he has left. And that's 2 items.
Alright, thalane heading into swamp now. We'd have to see if he skips on shovel 2 or just goes for the clear. Nice quick kill for Goomba. Just hammers off the mask off, and then 1 silver arrow finishes off Helmer. So, do we have flute?
We have flute!
So, yep, at 1 hour 28, Goomba is in go mode. He doesn't have to worry about the pedestal now, he just has to go finish off his crystals. Well, Schrodinger's go mode. I must say Schrodinger's go mode, because we don't know what's for Mizumaya. It could still be bombers for Mizumaya, and we would be in a lot of misery if it was bombers. So, nearly 90 minutes into the raid, get your 07s in chat for this statue is going to break apart and reveal some kind of duck. Some people call it a duck, but I think it's more of a seagull. Like a seagull, this duck has been, this bird has been trolling our runners all of its race.
I mean, even if it's Bumpus, it might just be next to Meyer, as usual, I would say. I mean, in the Meyer shed.
Yeah, we've had that a couple times in this in the league so far. Oh, you need this medallion to get into Mizumaya. Oh, it's just in the shed here. No problem. So, right, moment of truth coming up for Goomba. Is he in go mode? I didn't see what it was.
Probably not bomb. Oh, maybe he's looking for a sword. I didn't see as well. It was quick, according to chat. So I guess he's looking for a sword. I mean, my shed is very quick to check, so... Yeah, it's quick.
And miscounted number 300 rupees that were in the seed, because that was another 300 rupees in my shed. Okay, yeah, correct. So Goomba is in go mode now. Not quite as convenient of a go mode as for Thalane will have later, because he doesn't have Tempered Sword, so he is going to have to do Master Sword spins on Ganon. But he has the silver arrows, so the phase he would spend the most time in, the last phase, he can get through it much quicker with those silvers. So Goomba knows that the cutscene side of Mizuma is pretty much useless. No items there to be gotten at all, so going to be hoping for a Godma here. We're going to need a small key and a big key in these chests.
And most likely, that's why it's not even going to the bridge chest. Just checking that first. I actually like the routing here. So if it's not here, you would be closer to the switch.
No big key. We're going to have to look a bit further.
I mean, we know where it is now. Like, he doesn't even have to activate the switch because he has 3 keys. He would go straight for that big key. Oh yeah, there's a switch. You have to. I forgot about this.
You have to hit the crystal switch so that you can get over to that. So get over to the block and the chest.
Oh, where the
Hey,
big key is
Goomba, you're going left. Wrong way. Wrong way. You know there's nothing fire locked here in Mizumai.
He probably remembered now after getting the map. Or was it the Ice Palace hint that he didn't check?
It might have been, actually.
That's one item. Still looking for a sword, though. So Thalane also skipped the shovel, which we know that it's not going to be very relevant.
Yeah. That would have just been a giant detour for him. So Goomba gets his big key because he remembers his hint, but now he's missing a small key. So
he didn't kill the enemy that had the key in the conveyor belt room with the switch, because he had 3. I don't think he did. He would have an extra key if he did. They got 2 keys in.
Yeah, he's just taking the warp portal here anyway to get to that side.
Depending on where Thalane is heading after that, yeah, that might still be a close race since it still has Ice and Skullwoods cleared for himself.
Okay, Thalane going to spend a little bit of time on a big bomb here. I think given that he has cleared all the dungeons, including Taofair, he is going to go do Helmasaur King after this.
The only spot he would have left aside from Helmasaur King would be hammer pegs and the powder, which we know are silvers.
Ooh, Goomba getting a little bit spooky here. It's a bit of a day here in Europe. You can't get spooky like that, Goomba. It's not allowed. But yes, Goomba using the spooky accent glitch to kind of hit a crystal switch from a entire room away to get through the blocks and save yourself a little bit of time in Maya. So Thalane turns into an anti-guy at the Pyramid Fairy. And looks like he is on his way to Pod.
Might actually be a very close race.
Yeah, because Goomba still has to get into the bottom of Ice Palace and get to the back of Skullwoods, and those take time. So thalane heading straight to Helmasaur and Goomba heading straight to Morphila. Probably see both of the bosses dying at around the same time for both their runners. Then thalane has to head over to Mizumaya. He won't be spending too long in Mizumaya, probably about the same amount of time as Goomba will in Ice Palace, and I think that's really going to put our runners on equal footing here going into Ganon's Tower.
He still has to activate the flute, and I probably think he's gonna grab that ether before going into the Maya area.
Yeah, I suppose. So that'll... Yeah, I think Goomba will just be a little ahead going into Ganon's Tower here, but it's really not much of a difference. And thalane does have that Tempered Sword to help make the tower easier, help make Ganon easier. But he doesn't have Silver Arrows. So thalane will have a last phase of Ganon where he has to do his spins. Unless he goes for the Galaxy Brain play and goes and checks Magic Bat whilst he's getting Ether Medallion and Flute activated, but I very much doubt he's going to do that.
Not a Magic Bat, but I can definitely see him go for that ether.
Nice quick kill of Morphila for Goomba. Alright, now Goomba just has to do a dip back into Ice Palace, a forced double dip of Ice Palace for both of our runners, so there's no way to get around that. And once he takes on Cold Stare and beats him, we're going to be starting the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game. So if you're a subscriber to any of the Speed Gaming channels or have donated a total of 250 bits across the channel, you can enter our Big Key guessing game. You would enter a number between 1 and 22 in chat when we start the game, and if you are correct with your guess, you get a spot on our very prestigious leaderboard. And more importantly, you get a chance to beat a Fear Agent who's still on top of the leaderboard with 6 wins, and somebody really needs to get ahead of him at this point. Otherwise, we're just going to keep saying rigged all for the rest of the league. Alright, thalane skipping a Magic Bat, of course, but he's activated his flute. He's going to get that Ether Medallion, and then he'll be on his way to Mizumaya.
I mean, I'm guessing the last sword's in GD at this point, but depends on where the big key is and if Goomba gonna get that last sword.
There's a few places the last sword could also be. It could be behind Shovel, it could be behind Green Pendant. But there's a very good chance to be in Ganon's Tower itself. Just depends on where that big key is though. If like the big key is on the torch, so you won't be seeing much of Ganon's Tower at all.
That sword would definitely give Goomba the edge at this point.
Two stair clips by Goomba. I do love that stair clip. It's mostly for swag because it saves you probably 2 seconds at most, but it's so nice to see. And it's a pretty recent discovery too.
I'm thinking myself I should really learn it. It doesn't take a lot of time, I guess.
So Goomba is the first one to his respective final boss. He's gonna have a bit of a harder time with Cold Stare here, because he's only got Master Sword. He's actually dipping into his blue potion immediately, just so he gets some easy fire rod shots. Yeah, saves him a bit of time in Cold Stare, but may make his Ganon's tower a bit trickier. Or Ganon himself if he needs to dip into magic.
So that's 7th crystal for Goomba.
And we're going to start the game here. I always go for a 19 guess in Ganon's tower. It actually gave me quite a lot of success in the previous tournament. I like to see a full right side clear, well not full right side clear, but a full chest on right side, plus ice armors with a big key in the vanilla chest. Which would, if you're taking into account the right side, would be exactly the vanilla chest too. But I don't wish Char Room on any runners because I'm not that cruel. What about you?
I usually for like 17. I don't know why, just a random number that I chose. Not even my favorite number, but I just like to see it a little bit deep into Ganon's tower. When I'm watching a race, but of course when I'm racing, I just want it to be 1 for sure.
It looks like Thalane is also getting a little bit spooky here in Mizumaru. I have to see. Oh, yeah. Spooky confirmed. Ooh, Goomba having a bit of trouble lifting up that rock here because the dead rocks decides to bump into him a bit. Right, we are going to be stopping the game as soon as Goomba is in the tower, so again, if you're a subscriber or have donated 250 bits to any Speed Gaming channel, get a guess in for the Big Key guessing game. Thalane takes down Fidget. Takes a little bit more time for him because he doesn't have the silver arrows. That is one advantage Goomba has right now. I think I would take the sword over the silver arrows personally, because the sword just gets you through Ganon's tower a little bit quicker, but in a bit more conveniently than silver arrows. But it's close. It is still close between these two runners. Just a few mistakes, or possibly even Ganon's tower rooting could really make the difference here.
I would also take the sword of itself as personally.
So, first two chests had a small key, so Goomba's just taking it over to the right side.
Actually going for a classic route, I would say.
Yeah, we've actually, in the league so far, we've actually had a lot of people doing Dark Magician routes, which is quite surprising to me.
I mean, I do that myself, that's the thing.
Dark Magician has always struck me as kind of one of those meme plays that doesn't really tend to work out in practice, but a couple of times it has actually worked, so I'm getting a bit more favoured towards it. Still wouldn't do it myself, but you know, if I see a Dark Magician now, I'm not going to pull a frowny face. So nothing on the right side for Goomba, so he's headed left. $20 rupees on the torch, so Bob lives today. Thalane is also heading into a tower. If he wants to catch up, he's gonna do the left side first. But he may well go right, because it is pretty much standard to check out those two right chests, and if you get a small key there, then you just go check out the other 4 chests as well.
Yep, he's
taking a couple of forwards there.
There's around 2-minute difference between when Goomba entered GC and when Thalane entered it.
So chest number 12 in the firebar room was just 10 hours. So we're on our way to Rando room. Chest number 13, Bomber's Medallion. Alright, 14, Piece of Heart. 15, Big Key. So, looks like we have a correct guest today. The first sub to, or supported to guess correctly, was Cyberlink, so congratulations!
So we found that bombos, but we still haven't found the last sword. I would expect Goomba to check those chests at the top of GT.
Yeah, he checked the other two chests after getting that big key, so he definitely wants another sword. I doubt thalane will be doing the same thing, though. Once he gets that big key, he's just heading straight up. Not going to check anything else.
But there's not a location left for that last sword, that's the thing. They checked a lot in the game already.
Ooh, Goomba takes a fall and is now having to dash across this bridge again. So, because Goomba has silver, well, it actually looks like he's turned off his silver arrows. It does one-shot the Stalfos in here, so turning off the silver arrows saves you a few frames because the sparkles on silver arrows cause you a little bit of lag. So it doesn't really need silvers for these rooms, but the temperature will definitely give thalane a bit more of an advantage here.
Getting his ping under Zelda's also being able to get him in one hit, since he doesn't have tempered.
Now he's turned his silvers back on to for land murders. I've seen some runners forget this actually. Turn off silvers for the gauntlets and then forget to turn it back on for land murders and wonder why the kill takes so long. Just check the upper two chests in Rando room looking for a possible fourth sword or silvers. In fact, yeah, that is a good point. Thalane will be checking these other chests in the top of Ganon's tower here because he will want silver arrows, but he's not going to get them here. Now, our runners are not far apart at all. If Goomba were to take a death here somewhere in Ganon's tower, he would get sent down to the bottom and then thalane would be in the lead. A Ganon death or Ganon fall will also make the difference here. Okay, Goomba spends a few seconds here to avoid despawning a top floor. If you go into the floor up the stairs there when the door in previous room is closing, you can actually despawn the top floor here. Which sounds great in theory, but in practice it means you don't have Moldorm to kill to get hookshot across the gap. And if you're so inclined to hover across the gap, you won't find Agatu either, so you're stuck and you have to reset.
I'm actually surprised Goomba didn't check those two chests up there. I mean, he skipped more than thalane, so I guess he would. Ooh, taking a fall in on Moldorm too.
Yeah. If we cannot afford... Goomba cannot afford... I'm losing the ability to speak English here. Goomba cannot afford Moldorm falls here because thalane is not far behind at all. Takes another fall. Thalane heads up the stairs and is only a floor behind Goomba at this point. Okay, there goes Mordon for Goomba. Cost him about a minute more there, taking those Mordon falls. Blue rupee in the chest, so Goomba's going to be doing master sword spins for the first part of Ganon. Thalane is just going to be doing normal sword slashes, but Thalane does not have the silver arrows, so his fourth phase is going to take a little bit longer. It is still really close between our two runners here.
I don't remember if Goomba still had like a potion for. I mean, he could use that cape to get some easy spins, for example.
I remember him picking up a blue potion from Magic Shop and also a fairy in a bottle. He's used a fairy in a bottle and a blue potion, so I'm not sure what else he has left. He has got 4 bottles, so he potentially has something else in store. Thalane checks the 2 chests in the top here. He gets a bug net and 20 rupees. So unless he wants to show off on Aga 2 here, there's nothing really that helps you in the top of Ganon's tower. Goomba's our first run into Ganon 2. Ganon 2? Ganon 1. There's only one and only Ganon. Except no substitutes.
So 3, 4, 5 spins already.
Goomba doesn't have half magic, so you're not going to be seeing him doing anything like cape spin strats to get through the fire bat phase. He's taking quite a lot of hits here. He's got to be careful. He's on red mail and he's got loads of heart contains, but I don't know what kind of safeties he has, so he doesn't really want to be taking any Ganon hugs or fire bat hits here. Thalane is at Aga 2. Nice triple hit there on Aga 2 for Thalane. Ooh, no, Goomba. Down to 2 hearts. One more hit will finish him off here, but he's through the most dangerous phase. Now just has to deal with a lot of Ganon teleports and try and avoid any hugs or instant fire bats. Thalane is at Ganon now. He's got the temper sword. He's going to get through these phases much quicker. But he is going to run into trouble at the 4th phase, where he doesn't have the silver arrows. Goomba does. This is a lot of Ganon teleports. Okay.
That is a lot of teleport. But Goomba is through the hardest part of the fight.
Yeah, Goomba is on 4th phase and Thalane is on 3rd phase. But one hit will finish off Goomba here. He's got to be careful. He cannot afford to take any hits at all.
Nope.
Ganon gets away, just a single hit. This looks good for a double. Just a single hit. Thalane is entering phase 4.
And the
one more hit for Goomba. So Thalane is so close behind, but if Goomba can just make it across this bridge here, he will be finishing in our first phase of the playoffs of the league. He makes it across. GG to Goomba.
GG to Goomba with 1 hour, 54 minutes and 58 seconds.
Thalane is in phase 4. He has to do spins. It's not quite as bad as it could be because he has a tempered sword, which gives him a little bit of a damage boost, but it's still slow compared to the silver arrows. Ooh, gets a spin at the wrong time there, so Ganon turns blue rather than taking damage. And Thalane takes down Ganon. So close behind Goomba, but just a couple more checks and a few pendant clears has just put Thalane a little bit behind here. If he'd gone into Ganon a bit sooner, it would have been even closer. It's just a difference between sword and silver azure. But thalane finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour 55:47, and Goomba finished in first with a official time of 1 hour 54:59 seconds. So GG to both of our runners. Now it looks like we have Goomba here in chat already. So GG Goomba, congratulations.
GG Goomba.
GG.
What a close finish!
Oh god, I was so nervous at the end there.
I mean,
Hence
I can
my-
get it. Like, spitting on Ganon and every teleport showed that you were kinda nervous during phase 3.
Oh god.
Hello.
Hello, Thalane, GG.
GG
Yo,
Flame.
GG's Goomba.
So I just want to tell you guys about the two things both of you missed. The silver arrows were at Magic Bat. The third sword upgrade, we don't know where the fourth one was that catfish.
Oh god, catfish? Oh jeez.
Yikes. I could have done Magic Bat at some occasions, I guess.
Yeah, I went down and checked Magic Bat when I got my book from Bonk Rocks. Got the silvers. Never checked catfish though, because I was going, like I had the smith with me, and I was gonna just do the full loop around all the way to catfish with him and then go back to cack with him, but then I got the bow and just went into pod instead, and then I just never checked catfish.
Yeah, that gamble you made trading the blacksmith for the frog was probably what made us face so close in the first place, because in fact, if thalane had never gone to pod until he'd gotten the hammer to go kill Hammersaw for for that flute, then thalane could have been ahead. But both of you did pretty much full clears of pod and got nothing for it. And
Yeah.
he got that second sword from, well, he got his first sword from Catfish actually before even heading into Skull Woods. So he did the blacksmith chain, he got the fire rod, and he was able to just get through Skull Woods and have both that fire rod and master sword so much sooner than you, Goomba. So
Yeah. My early routing did not work out, but I wasn't too worried because with the game forcing a hammerless ice palace dip, I knew thalane would go to pod as well, so I didn't really mind that much.
I mean, about Ice Palace.
Yeah,
I don't know if Thalane, I don't know if you know Goomba, if he told you already, but Thalane actually triple dipped Ice Palace.
I heard.
Yeah, so I actually went in there before pod. Like, I had pod and ice petals left. These were like the only two locations. And I went into ice. I did like everything except ice tea chest, and then went to the right side and locked myself out. And then I was like, okay, well, let's go to pod. I mean, what are the chances this one chest is gonna be it, right? And then I went to pod. I already felt like really bad because, you know, I knew like you probably went into pod already. So I was like, this is not feeling really great. And then pod was empty. I was like, dude, that's not true, is it? And then I just went back into Ice Palace, opened my big chest, which had a small key, and then went over to Ice Tea Room to grab that hook shot. So yeah, that was pretty much, I think, like the only real mistake I made in the seed, and it cost me a lot.
Yeah, I traded in the blacksmith for Kiki, as previously mentioned, which resulted in me walking to cack like 5 times. Which was a bit tragic.
Yeah, I think I was pretty efficient, but it just didn't work out. This seed was super horrible, man.
This seed was a disaster.
There's also, like, Goomba completely skipped Tafera.
Yeah, I never did Tower of Hera.
Oh, alright. Yeah, I full cleared it. Because I thought, you know, we can full clear that. We can maybe find Ice Rod in T-Rock, so Pedestal is not looking too bad right now, so might as well just kill all the stuff while I'm here.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, at that point I was only looking for Flute and Mirror, and it was so obvious that one of them would be in Turtle Rock, and I figured it would probably just lock the other one. So I just decided to skip Hera and go straight to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I think that also makes sense. I don't know. I think both are pretty reasonable plays.
Yeah.
How did you like that shovel on the left side of some Goomba?
I didn't, which is why I didn't go get it.
I was so hoping you would go there and grab that and like bank on that, having the flute or something. So I didn't do it.
we were just given that the first 90 minutes of this race were so horrible, we were just speculating all the different races could go wrong. So Shovel leads to Ice Rod, which leads to Trinex, so that you could get Bombos on the pedestal, so that you could open Misery Mire.
Yeah, there were many ways that seed could have gone terribly wrong, and it did go terribly wrong in a lot of ways, but...
It could have been a lot worse though, like,
Yeah.
they could have at least given us another 15 minutes of useless running left and right, I guess.
What if the Ice Rod wasn't a Swamp Palace? What then?
Also, apparently I collected every heart piece. There's 20, right?
24, I think.
24? Alright, then I didn't.
So all things considered, like the skips you did, the gambles you took, it's still really, really close between you two. So
Yeah, I mean,
GG's to both of you. What great
my
race.
my early routing was an absolute disaster, so I felt like I had to make a lot of skips to make up time.
I do really like going for the red bomb and then not going to catfish, but going to pod.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean, I knew if Catfish had it, I was screwed because I knew thalane would have done Catfish.
That's
long
exactly
before
what
he
it
could go
said.
into Ice Palace.
That's exactly what it said. Like, if it's on catfish, he know he's already screwed, so might as well go to Almazur, straight to Almazur
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking at your menu times here for the boots, flute, and mirror, and you basically had everything about 5 to 10 minutes earlier than me. That's pretty sad. Freaking Ice Palace, man.
Pepe hands.
But yeah, it's my own fault. I should have just went to Ice Tea. I was thinking about it, and I was like, nah, dude, let's just check right side, make the Galaxy play.
Goomba actually hesitated in the freezer room. He spent like 2-3 seconds thinking, do I bomb them now or not?
Yeah, I really didn't want, because I bomb jumped earlier, right? So I had to drop down and go all the way around to Ice Tea room, so I didn't really want to
Yeah.
spend
I
too
did
much
that
time.
too. I
'Cause
did
I
the
felt-
Ice Palace bomb jump in case the hammer was in there.
Yeah, right. Same. So I really felt like I'm already wasting so much time doing this play when pod is the obvious like go-to place here in this scenario. But yeah, apparently it wasn't. So for once, my Ice Palace was a very good idea, but it didn't work out because I messed it up.
I mean, I don't know, like, at this point you already found 2 items as well, so that's actually something worth considering, in my opinion. Because you already got the lamp and the big 20. Especially when you still have stuff left. Both of you. Thalane, you had pod, Goomba, you had catfish.
Yeah. Like, when I went to Ice Palace, literally the only other thing I had left was Catfish, so...
Hey, look, my in-game time is lower than yours. That means I win, right?
Forehead.
I mean, you kept your mushroom, Thalane.
Yeah, and then I didn't use it to fake powder, so that was. I mean, now that I think about it, I never really had the chance, except if I went there when I activated flute. Otherwise, I never went back to hammer pegs or the magic bat, I did grab
never did
ether,
hammer
though.
pegs.
just in case Misery Maya's ether.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did have a potion, Goomba. I was wondering.
Oh shit, I did. I thought I used my only potion on Cold Stare, so I didn't even look.
Because that was close. That was actually close. And I think if,
Yeah,
if you knew you'd had one, you probably would have to cape a little bit.
Yeah, if I knew I had a blue potion, I definitely would have used Cape at phase 2. But I thought I only had the one that I used on Cold Stare, so I didn't. Whoops.
But yeah, I'm glad we had like a close race. That was pretty hype, especially considering this is the first race of the playoffs, right? So I'm pretty happy with the performance, even though I lost. So it doesn't feel too bad.
That was a good one.
Also, I think all the people that are racing like more actively, we are all kind of friends. So it's not too bad, I guess. And yeah, other than that, thank you very much for commentating this match, both you guys, and tracking. I think that was DMN who tracked this race.
Yeah,
And,
that was
It was a pleasure. I don't commentate a lot, but this one I was really hyped to commentate.
Oh,
Yeah,
I believe you guys, not you two specifically, but your teams have a game later at 3 o'clock Eastern time, which is going to be probably about 8 o'clock in 8 o'clock for your respective time zone. So Duquesne from and versus Hitzian. So looking forward to that later.
Gonna be open standard old engines, run by swords if I remember correctly. It's a match between players C of each teams, where Team Awesome could choose the mode, but the last location has had a veto, and they vetoed old. No, they vetoed defeat Ganon to force an old engine.
Yeah, I think I saw Duquesne in chat or somebody on your team saying, yeah, we vetoed Ganon just so to make it harder for Hitzian.
That sounds like Drac.
I just noticed Tracker marked the pot pendant for me, but I immediately save and quit after I got the flute. I didn't even collect the pendant. I just went out of there.
I collected the pendant because I was going to check Saha for a sword, and then I was just like, nah.
Main might have been the bombos as well. Never know at this point.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I thought after saving quitting, maybe there was a mistake, but yeah, I'm happy it worked out.
I mean, you went for that either as well. I mean, you both went to getting the flute. It makes sense, in my opinion. Don't really want to go back after seeing that it's either. Don't want to take that gamble.
Yeah, I mean, you sit there thinking, okay, 33%, that's pretty low considering how many times you got, the seed owned you by with a 66% chance. Like, that happens so many times. We just hoped, alright, it's a pretty good chance you go there and it's not the medallion you have. And
yeah, so. And like, when you're that late into the seed and you've checked that much stuff, the last medallion's probably just a GT anyway, right? Like, statistically.
Yeah, or on Catfish, right?
Please, no.
Just check it, man. That's like the first thing you do every seed.
I mean, if I have Hammer, then yeah, it is the first thing I check every seed. But when I have Mitts, it's kind of hard, you know?
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Alright.
And I really thought there would be something in Pod with how the bow just kind of fell into my lap in Hype Cave. And I mean, I guess I was right, technically. There was something in Pod. Just came back for it like an hour later.
Yeah, just that pendant pod really baited both of you into doing a full clear and then coming back much later for Hammer and seeing, oh look, there's my go mode on Helmet Soul. All the rest of the dungeon was complete waste.
I'm pretty sure you would have gone, not that early for you, Goomba, but you would have gone into Pod before Ice Palace. Bow
yeah. Absolutely. Like, I'm not going into Hammerless Ice Palace. Like, I'm just not. It's not something I do. Except in entrance, I guess.
So I think we're about ready to wrap things up here. Any final thoughts on the seed, Goomba and thalane?
It was awful.
Like the one we did earlier, it was awful.
This one was more awful.
Yeah, I think this one, I mean, it was kind of fun. I don't know, I think it was like, okay, I enjoyed playing a longer seed for once. It's just always that, like, negative fear that you have with long seeds like that. It's gotta be like, yeah, my opponent definitely already found all the stuff I'm looking for 20 minutes. So, yeah, this is like the only negative thing, I think.
From like a 1v1 perspective, I think it was a really interesting seed, because like, there were a lot of decisions you could make to try to make up time and all that stuff, but the seed was kind of stupid.
Also to lose time.
Yep.
I mean, actually going into Skullwood without a sword, into back of Skullwood without a sword, that was interesting, in my opinion.
I mean, I really didn't have much else left. But yeah, it felt pretty bad to walk all the way into the back of Skullwoods for one chest for a 50-50 at an item, but like, it was that or Ice Palace. Or Purple Chest, I guess.
So I've linked both of your streams in chat. Do check out Goomba stream and thalane stream because they both play a lot of Rando and they're still going to be playing in the league here. I've also do check out our track as well and my co-commentator Lin, who you were racing early in the league. But how many points did your team end up on?
We ended up with 9 points, unfortunately. Got pretty much screwed by every other
yes.
team. But we have points, that's what matters.
I mean, you had fun, that's what matters, right?
Exactly, I had a lot of fun. League's been pretty interesting so far, and it keeps getting interesting. We still have a lot more to see, especially tonight.
Yeah, we
Tonight's
do
gonna be
have
good.
that. The next game is going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So do check that out later. I know I will.
Wait, there's another game at 3 o'clock Eastern time before that.
Yeah, I mean, 3 o'clock. I was looking at the other one at 8 o'clock, which is completely different teams. But that's going to be Fendrana Drifters versus Titan Smiths at 8 o'clock, and your teams, Last Locationers and Team Awesome at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, definitely gonna be looking forward to those matches. They're gonna be good ones. I just hope I can stay awake for the second one.
So thank you guys for putting on awesome race tonight. Today. Thank you, Lin, for commentating with me, and Demented for tracking with us. And I will leave it with you, Lin. But excellent race once again, and thank you for watching, Speed Gaming fans.
Thank you for watching, and you're later today for Game 2 in Player Seed match.